Hey, it's Parallel here from PurposeDreamMasters.com, and today I'm going to talk about the lessons that I discovered from my recent travels. From October 2017 to late January 2018, I spent 3 months in Southeast Asia. The only planning I did prior to booking my airfare was 2 nights at a local hostel. My plan was to meet other travelers and get their feedback and suggestion on what to do. This allowed me flexibility to have a spontaneous trip. This also forced me to meet other people because I was traveling by myself. By having someone always by my side, I would feel more reluctant about talking to other people. Since I took away that barrier, it was more mandatory and much easier for me to do it. I love meeting new people because they tend to have very interesting stories and are people who are traveling for a long time. This allowed me to gain their insights from their travels and hear about their lifestyle back home. This brings me to my first lesson, which is growth is always outside of my comfort zone. When I lean into my edge and do things that are scary, that's when I experience the biggest growth. By traveling alone in foreign countries that I have never been to, not only had to deal with the language barrier, but also the cultural difference. But I was able to manage and get around. I met other like-minded people, and we oftentimes traveled together. Even though I was traveling by myself, I rarely felt alone. Oblivious to their culture, I was willing to try new things. Following my curiosity with the eagerness to learn, I tried new activities, met the locals, and I was open to the unique perspective of learning, living, and beliefs. Because of that, I tried different types of exotic cuisines, different types of fruits and vegetables. I saw it as an opportunity to try new things and be a beginner. Even though I might know a great deal on something, I remain humble and listen to others because they might know something that I don't. This brings me to my second lesson, which is to have an open mind. I can't be fixated on what I know. I must be willing to be open so I can make room and space in my internal cup to gain additional knowledge. The truth is that no one knows everything. And the more I learn about myself and the world, the more I realize how much I don't know. Navigating in cities in foreign countries was a challenge in its own. I had to talk to locals with their native tongue or sometimes with a very limited amount of English. But everywhere I went, I saw travelers. Sometimes they're a dime a dozen, and sometimes they're 1 in 100. But when we see each other, we know we're the outsiders. Even though I was traveling by myself, I met tons of great friends who I still keep in touch with. It was easy for us to connect and relate because we were travelers. It was very easy to spot. Because of that commonality, we were able to become friends. Of course, there are times where I went by myself, and I actually enjoy some of those moments because traveling with someone it's draining sometimes, and I wanted my alone time. But whenever I was by myself, I kept on having perspective. I knew that whatever challenge I might be facing, I'm not the first one to experience it. Other people have been in my situation before, and they were able to overcome it. And if they could do it, then so can I, and much more. It might seem difficult right now, but it's there to test me, to build my character. And in the future, I'll look back and actually be thankful for it. Because if it wasn't for that hardship, I wouldn't become resilient and grow into the person that I am today. And that's the third lesson, which is to have perspective and to realize you're never really alone. Traveling through Southeast Asia, I had the opportunity to visit the countrysides. I saw the locals living with almost nothing. They had their house, their farms, their family, and their food. In the Western world, they would consider poor, but in my eyes, they were rich and wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. Despite having so little, they were fulfilled and content. They were happier than most people that I know in the Western world. They had everything they needed to live a meaningful life. They focused on the essentials like their health, family, and friends. All those things that they think they need are just distractions that get in the way of what's really worthwhile. They eat food that are grown by themselves or their neighbors. They live in a community and they help each other out. They trade with each other using a barter system rather than using money. Both men and women woke up early and worked on the fields. That's their physical exercise. There's no gym membership required. It's through manual labor and eating healthy, nutrient-dense foods. It's a lifestyle. It's something that they do for their survival. It's a very simple yet urgent way of living. Their livelihood depended on how well they worked, independent of Mother Nature. This brings me to the fourth lesson, which is to appreciate the small things. Simple thing is just having my health in check. If I were to diagnose with some sort of dying disease, nothing else really matters. My relationships, my job, my business, friends, that doesn't matter if I'm dying, if I can't take care of myself. That's something a lot of us take for granted. I could have all the money in the world, but if I can't use that to save myself, what's the real value of it? Another thing is just simply appreciating family and friends. They show their unconditional love and support. To make them thrive, I must invest in them to further deepen the relationships. Before I decided to go on a 3-month trip, I had thoughts that held me back. In terms of job, I would be taking a break. And for my venture, I wouldn't be here serving my clients. Those were the consequences I had to deal with. At the same time, I analyzed the benefits. It's my time to experience growth, see something different, get out of my comfort zone. There are things I could do to prepare so that I can mitigate some of those repercussions. But one thing's for sure, my time is limited. Money, that's something I always work and get back. But I can't say the same for time and youth. I want to be able to do what I want to do now with the level of zest and energy. I don't want to wait till I'm quote unquote retired or stop working to enjoy life. Life is meant to be enjoyed now. I don't want to postpone my happiness, my fulfillment, or my dreams until this very thing in the future that may not even exist. Life is meant to be lived in the now. And that's why I want to take mini retirements. It may be 3 months, 6 months, a year, or even longer. This brings me to my fifth lesson, which is the only person that's holding me back is myself. I'm the only person who's standing in my way from getting what I want. If I could conquer myself, I could conquer anything. Whatever stories that we tell ourselves, we believe. Are they serving you? Are they allowing you to be the man that you want to be? Are they allowing you to achieve your goals and dreams? You have the power to change them. You hold the master key from unlocking your fullest potential. The only person who's holding you back is yourself. When you make up your mind, no one can stop you except the person in the mirror. If you could control yourself, you could do anything you want. If you have any questions about the 5 lessons, please leave a comment below, and I'd love to hear from you all. Till next time, bye.